You're now listening to the Zod and Drea podcast.
All right, we're back.
We are back.
All right, sorry for the late posting on the podcast, but we just had a whole bunch of stuff that we were doing all week.
Kinda busy.
And, so we've been pretty busy. See, we've been busy. So I'm glad you waited for us. And if you haven't been following us on our Twitter page, we've been going crazy, just adding all kinds of posts and having all kinds of political arguments against people. And our post numbers have been viewed a lot of times lately. So make sure you get involved in that and, add to it. See what you're talking about, get into some of the discussions and arguments that we've been having there. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and also look out for a Zod report and Drea report also on our website. This way you can see kind of some different flares that we got, some different things that we can talk about that we weren't able to during the podcast. You'll be able to catch it on the site.
Okay, so, we've been discussing on what we were going to talk about on this session, and it's getting a little... getting convoluted. I mean, the political landscape is just crazy. So we're just going to do all three. We're going to do a political landscape, we're going to do a movie review, and we're going to talk about relationships. So we're going to get back to the basics on the Zod and Drea report. Something to kind of lean back, but it's going to get tense.
Right. A lot we have to cram in.
Yeah. So, first off, we're going to make sure we talk about our relationships and just, touch on jealousy a little bit. We're going to talk a few minutes about jealousy and, try and get your input a little bit if you can, give it to us back. What people get jealous of, especially when it's unprovoked.
Right. Especially unprovoked. And it's always a perception, right?
It's always a perception. It's like jealousy. And personally, I don't understand jealousy. It doesn't make sense to me. So when I see it, I'm like, I don't get why you are acting the way you are. But we'll get into that. Second thing we're going to discuss is a movie that I had seen last night that was kind of cool.
What was called?
It was called, what? Damn, what's wrong with you?
I'm giving the dramatics for it.
It's called Don't Breathe, starring Stephen Lang and a bunch of kids I never heard of. But man, that movie was fun. It was a lot of fun. So we hope that you can check that out. But we'll give a movie review. But then, tell us what... we're going to be talking about the main part.
Main topic today is why does religion play a major part in American politics? I mean, look at what's going on lately. It's not like we're asking for this. This is what's just been coming up lately in politics. So we just thought, let's just ask this question and see your thoughts.
So we're going to start getting into it, and let's hit up this jealousy thing because I don't get it. I'm the type of guy where I'm very secure in myself. No matter who I'm with, there's that person's with you, and they've pretty much made a commitment to you. They've made a commitment to you, and it shows in the way that they hold your hand, give you a kiss, give you a hug, sleep in bed with you, sex. However, it shows you that they care in that manner. You may cook for you, clean for you. Who knows what they do? Get you little gifts, write you little notes. I'm not too worried about what the next dude is doing. He may try and hustle and push his way up through, but I'm not going to get scared of that if I'm secure in my relationship. The only reason I think people would get insecure about that and jealous is if they're insecure about their relationship.
Correct. And it's hard for me to get jealous just as well because, I understand that no matter what, a person's going to do what they're going to do, right? Yeah. Right? And if I know that I've done what I can to make my partner happy, to have this awesome relationship that I feel is like just as equal and fun, then I can trust that man to be in the world and really abide by me. How would you act, if you were in front of me, right? So I trust that person. And it's when the trust is broken is when then I get upset, when it's like, wait, come on, why'd you do that? That's ridiculous.
But see, that's when I would get upset. It's at that point, but why am I going to waste my time? I have too many other things to worry about. Why am I going to waste my time sitting there wondering what someone's doing? And so we're sitting here trying to figure out what would make somebody fly off the handle. Mm-hmm. It's wild to me. I mean, what in the hell would make them do that? So let's say the girl
Yeah, give me an example.
Like,
Let's paint the picture for the audience.
Like, let's say that your woman is, out with you at a bar. You guys are hanging out together, nothing big, and then some old flame, or not even, or just some guy who knows rolls up,
just like some random guy
rolls up to her and says, "Hey, what's up, girl? Oh my God, I haven't seen you in a while." They hug, Oh my God, this is blah blah blah. This is my boyfriend. Oh my God, so how have you been? Oh, and then the boyfriend's looking like jealous.
Right?
Why? Like, where does that emotion come from? It's like they're just two people reconnecting. Is it just because it's a dude? What if she had a lesbian relationship with somebody? So if a woman came up, it's like, oh my God, girl, I haven't seen you. Who's that? Oh, it's some girl I used to date. Would you then still be jealous? It makes no sense to me.
Well, as a guy, okay, let's example. Do you have any of your friends shared with you any experiences where they're like, yeah, I can't believe my girl she said hi to her ex, or, we were at a club and we were dancing and all of a sudden this guy came up to her, but she told the guy I got a boyfriend, but still it made me so mad. Like, anything like that have ever happened?
No, nothing like that. It's like, I've had a couple dudes where they've not even, I hate to say it, but it's mostly women that I know that go crazy, or at least they show their jealousy in a different way. Some people call it passion. And I guess, we were even talking before, it might be cultural. Black men, Latino men, they may get more jealous in certain things. If you ever look at cuckold porn.
Oh, God.
Right? If you ever look at cuckold porn, it's always like a white guy. I'm sorry, dudes, but it's always a white dude whose like wife is getting busted down by some brother man, and the white dude's like loving it and all this. And I wonder what that is. Like, I mean, it's not jealousy. They're obviously extremely...
No, I think that's a completely different...
But is it? Like, it's a fetish, but it's also not jealousy. Now, you don't see a lot of black men or Latino men doing that. Oh, let me have this white guy come in and bust down on my girl. Like you're just not going to see that. You know what I mean?
No.
So is it a cultural thing also? Just going back, using that as extremes as to why someone's jealous. And, what if a woman was jealous just because it's the same thing? Winds up looking at his phone and she sees that he's getting a text from some chick that she never heard of.
And I've I've like an ex that I've had just went off the handle just because a guy at, let's say, I think it was a restaurant or something, just looked at me, didn't even verbalize anything to me, just acknowledged my existence, and the guy I was with just lost his mind. And I could not understand, like, why is it? Why? So I guess... I just don't understand. Like, even just a look. Like, yeah, I'm a human being. He looked at me. He didn't look at me like down my shirt. He just looked at me, and he went off and ended that relationship right then and there.
Yeah, and I mean, some people just have to end it. But I mean, we can talk about this on a whole new topic, which we probably will do in the future, to talk about jealousy. But, we got to talk about this movie now. We got to move forward. So, give us your thoughts on some jealousy. But... So I'm sitting there chilling, wondering what movie to watch, and I was like, oh, this looks like a nice little horror movie. I'm going to take off my glasses, go to sleep to it, because that's what I like to do when I watch movies. And then I saw this thing called Don't Breathe.
Such a peaceful way to go to sleep.
That's how I go to sleep. So I was like, okay, let me check out this movie Don't Breathe right quick. And, it starts off with this dope-ass drone shot coming in close to some guy just dragging this woman with a bloody trail behind her. I'm like, oh, shit, what's this? Of course, I got to put my glasses back on, and I got to see what's happening. So the basis of the story is three punks. The girl who wants to leave, I guess, with her boyfriend. The girl's name is Rocky. The other dude's name is, I think, Money. And the kid in the back.
Was that the one that had the tattoo on his neck?
With the tattoo on his neck.
Okay, I was kind of annoying.
Yeah, he was annoying. The white dude, I'm tough. I grew up in Detroit, and so I wear cornrows because I'm not black. Shut the fuck up. So then the little skinny white dude in the back named Alex. And... what's her name was about to leave Detroit. Rocky was about to leave Detroit with her little sister because they want a better life, but their better life is by robbing people, getting enough money, and then leaving. So that's what they were doing, is doing a whole bunch of not home invasions, but, burglaries. Yeah. And so, they get wind of this one dude down the way who, he's blind, and he has like $300K, they're thinking, stuffed in his house somewhere. Well... blind old man, fuck that shit. But it's Stephen Lang, the enemy dude from Avatar. and he's still jacked
The
up.
guy's like 80 something years old and is ripped.
Like he's still buff.
So
It's like, what the
ripped.
fuck is going on here?
And I'm thinking to myself, he's blind. That means the other senses have like accelerated
Like
then.
everything, He's like hulked out, and then so they think it's a good idea while he's still in the house to go into his house and rob him. So they find, oh man, all hell broke loose once the first dude got shot, killed. Like things just went wrong, and it's called "Don't Breathe" for a reason, because like. The way didn't you like the way they paused, the suspense when they had to pause and not breathe, otherwise he might hear them.
The house is like this where all the drama happens, and it's how they can or can't escape. The door's right there where they could leave, but yet you can't walk there because you know that he's going to hear you. It was really cool how they tied that, and then finding out more about what actually is really going on in that house.
Yeah, so later on you find out what's really deeper, because you get a backstory about the guy, the blind guy's house. Now, first of all, for a house in Detroit, now look, I grew up in Morris Plains, New Jersey, and we had some pretty big houses, decent sized houses. This house was big as hell. I'm like,
it was like basement.
It was cavernous and like all these different trails and all that. I'm like, what is this? Well, come to find out, they shot the interior in Uruguay. I think it was that, and then the exterior in Detroit.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it was either that or the other way around. It's one of the other.
Yeah, they had to have shot the outside in Detroit to at least show the street name, because they were really close, like the street names and area.
Yeah, and then the other. So they had the indoor. I mean, it was mad big, like just big. Even like the bed down in the basement, like that whole area was enormous, and it had like fucking 20-foot high ceilings in the basement. And then I'm like, come on. So it was a little fantasy. You had to kind of suspend your.
It was nuts. At first, I'm catching myself like rooting for the blind guy, right? And I'm like, hey, they busted into his house. He has a right to like shoot him up or do whatever. And then there's the twist, and then it's like, oh no, now I want the robbers to get out alive, and because this guy's straight
Not me.
crazy.
I was like, yo, get them, blind dude. Fuck them. They shouldn't have been in there. They shouldn't have been in there. You shouldn't be out there robbing people. This is what you get.
But look what happened. What they found in his house.
Doesn't matter what they found.
Yes, it was. It was nuts.
No, they shouldn't have been stupid.
I can't look at a turkey baster the same way again.
Yeah, the turkey baster is gross, but I'm telling you, that was their fault. If they weren't in there in the beginning, they would have been alive and shit.
Ugh.
And not met the dog. So it was a whole bunch of things. It was like Cujo. It was a bunch of like...
That was a crazy dog.
I like the dog. So it was really interesting. But I mean, it's called Don't Breathe. If you guys have a chance, I don't even know where they can see it. I guess it's made in 2016, so...
I think it should be on Netflix now.
It should be on Netflix or something, Amazon, something or other. Otherwise,
Redbox.
Redbox. There are other methods you can do it, but make sure you go and check it out, because it's a wild ride, but it was a lot of fun.
And who was it that produced it? Sam Raimi, right?
Sam Raimi did from Evil Dead, so he did it. And
Please listen carefully. Please listen carefully. Please listen carefully.
Once again, make sure you listen to the Zod and Drea podcast by subscribing to one of the following podcast methods: iTunes, Google Play, or YouTube. Visit our website at www.zodanddrea.com to go directly to the links, or if you choose, you can listen to each podcast episode directly on the website under their individual posts.
Want to get involved and have your voice heard on the next podcast? Then be sure to tune in to the question of the week on our website, Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram page. And dial in and leave a message on our voicemail at 323-963-4221.
If you're an advertiser who would like to have your 30-second or 1-minute placement on our podcast or YouTube episode, please contact us at info@zodanddrea.com and we'll send you a price list. Space is limited for each episode.
The next podcast might even have you as a featured guest.
Tune in, check us out, and get involved.
all right, now we're back. Okay, people. Let's get into this topic of discussion. Another 15 minutes going into what we're going to be talking about, which is...
What are we talking about?
Why does religion play a major part in American politics? Because it's really a silly thing, and I think that it's something that's traditional that dates back. there were people who came into the country, they were basically Quakers and shit, then, Christianity. And then once Christianity, it really stuck since, I think it was Jefferson or something like that. But every single president, every single one was pretty much a Christian.
What, the presidents?
Presidents, yeah.
Some form of Christianity, yeah. And majority Protestant.
Yeah, a lot of them are Protestant. I remember that was a big deal for Kennedy, I believe. I forgot how.
Because he was the first Catholic.
Yeah, he was the first. That's why, because he was one of the first Catholics. So when he came, and that's what's so funny. It's like all the infighting between Protestant and Catholic. It's like, do you both believe in Jesus? Yeah. So shut the fuck up. It's like it's so stupid.
Some take food during their mass, some don't.
Yeah, like who gives a crap? See, I'm not a really not political, but I'm not a really religious guy. So. All that doesn't matter to me. It doesn't define who I am. I'm not going to allow some book to define who I am. But it seems like people allow it to define themselves, or at least to a point, to who they're going to vote for or what they're going to believe. And what the American society is really, really, really good at doing is being hypocritical and by cherry picking the Bible to fit their belief system. Because they don't. And I would say that 90% of the people who say that they believe in the Bible and believe in the values of the Bible are liars. And they don't.
Right. Not practicing what
they are
the
not
true...
No, they are not.
Right. And see, I grew up in a religious environment, went to Catholic school and all that stuff, right? But am I practicing Catholic? No, I've decided to step away from the church because I've just learned about so many other religions and just really came to the conclusion that we're being taught, no matter what, every religion teaches people, just don't be jerks to each other. All right. Just get along. Don't be jerks. Don't kill each other off and we'll be fine. There's one, all the messages are pretty much the same.
They just need I think they just need to either just dissolve all of them into one religion or, because they are the same. It's like, it does teach you whatever. For people who try to say that Islam is like, oh God, Islam, the Quran says this, are the same people who don't look deeper into the Bible and see all of the killing, the mass murder, the destruction that is noted in the Bible, not just on the part of God, but like on some of the people who are the followers and what they tell you to do in the name of God. So you can't say that one is worse than the other and then say you're a Christian and then you're going to point at a Muslim and be like, you know what, they aren't part of my American values, when you guys and what you apparently supposedly believe are the exact same thing.
Exactly.
So don't try and pick Muhammad. Jesus Christ is mentioned 25 times as a prophet in the Quran. So they do see Jesus as a prophet. It's just they believe more in Muhammad. There's nothing wrong with that. But the thing is, Allah is God, is Yahweh. It's like it's the same thing. They're all Abrahamic books, pretty much, including the Torah. So I don't know why people have an issue with putting it into politics. And we're even talking, like, when we're talking politics, we're even talking the separation of church and state.
Yeah, and look at what kind of dance that's become. And it's the lines have been crossed so many times now. Where is the separation now anymore?
There is none, because they added God's name in the Pledge of Allegiance
and in our money,
where it wasn't before. The money, I think, I don't remember when, but yeah, in the money system.
And God we trust is right there. In
it's
the
like,
money.
Okay, how are you going to do that in a currency system? That's political. How are you going to tell me I pledge allegiance to the flag, which is dedication to, it's political to do all that in God's name. Like, what if you're an atheist? So. We're seeing a lot more people, I guess, of different faiths that are becoming like congressmen, representatives, things like that. So they're opening up, but there's never been a president. God, they accused Barack Obama just because his name was different and his middle name was Hussein of being a Muslim.
And a terrorist.
Yeah, and a terrorist.
Somehow he was a terrorist.
Because he didn't say, Islamic terrorism. It isn't. It's almost like saying, well, if it's going to call it Islamic terrorism, let's call it white racism. Let's put, a definition on the, before it, an adjective before what it is. Let white people say that. Like, okay, you know what? I'm sick of white terrorism. I'm sick of white racism. Well, what's that? There's a system. I'm sick of white racism. So if I keep saying that, you're going to get pissed about it. Well, then if you don't like white racism, then don't say Islamic terrorism. It's just terrorism. That's all it is. It's what it is. There's not, man rape. I'm sick of man rape. Women rape too. Other people rape too. And so I think that we put politics into it and mix religion in with it, we're just going to get a powder keg of BS. It's going to blow up in everyone's faces.
But do you think, though, the adding religion as an influence, though, in politics to then pull at people to vote a certain way, to grab and be sensational, to certain voters so that they get the vote and they can get the seat then. So almost using religion then as that heartstring pull almost, or that gut wrenching to get somebody to vote. Look at the current person that's in office right now, who is president. He claimed he was never religious at all, right? But then all of a sudden, when he started running for office, God's with him. God is going to speak through him, and I know he's going to be the best president, was a lot of what his voters said. And he never even claimed to even walk into a church. But all of a sudden, if you tie him to then God, yes, he's going to be the one. He's going to be the one, and God's with him.
And that's where the hypocrisy comes from. People try to identify with a religion, especially Christianity in the United States, and never follow the book. They never follow the rules. You see people sitting there, I'm a Christian, but you're clean shaven. Oh, I'm a Christian, yeah, but I want Trump as president. I want Mexicans out. So to them, God is not first. Country is. And if God was first, then you would think of Jesus Christ's teachings. And Jesus Christ, if he were in the United States, remember, he was for the world, so Jesus wouldn't even want borders.
Right.
Like anywhere. Because he was for the world. So,
and he's Middle Eastern.
This Middle Eastern guy would come in, you'd call him a terrorist, but he would come in, you'd be like, Jesus, look at this. He would not be like, the Confederate flag is a good thing. He would not say, all this separation and division and putting up walls between people is not a good thing. All these people coming in that are refugees that need the help that I was. Jesus was a refugee. And you're going to leave them out there in the cold so that they can die just for your fucking country? Like, just because you're like, he could be a terrorist. Guess what? Little Jimmy could be a terrorist because he has access to his dad's guns. And his dad could be a friggin' terrorist because he likes to dress in camouflage pants and always talks badly about the government and always wants the police to succeed. Every single time they see him beating up a black person, they cheer him on. So, for you to even accept religion and try to be that and try to use that as a bargaining chip for how someone's supposed to determine how you're acting is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So I think that politics and religion should be separated. It has no place. There's no reason. I'm really glad, like Keith Ellison, who we got to hang out with for a minute. He's running for the DNC chair. And, he's a congressman. And, I just saw that he was, people were scared that he was sworn in on the Quran. Look, the man is Muslim, okay? He can swear on whatever holy book that he's going to uphold the law by. There is no legal or one religion or language in this country. Mm-hmm. There is none. There is no...
That's why it was founded. It's another reason it's founded, but that happened later on.
It's freedom of. It's freedom of. You can speak what you want. You can believe what you want. There is no...
And not be persecuted.
And not be persecuted. Like, English is not the American language. That's the language of England, but it's not our language. You can come here, speak Chinese, not speak a freaking lick of English, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. The fact that we only define ourselves on one language anyway, and the fact that so many people here are not bilingual, there's a problem. You go in the middle of anywhere else, they speak English and they speak their native language, they speak a whole bunch of other things, and we are out here in the cold thinking we're number one when we're not. Mm-mm.
Far from it. We gotta understand and embrace. If we wanted to have a global economy, right? Well, with that comes the opening of everything to understand what else is going on in the globe outside of what's going on in the United States.
Well, that's a whole worldly issue. Right. But that's even looking beyond our own borders and things like that, which a lot of people here are so short-sighted. It's like just here, like DeVos. So Betsy DeVos gets into her position today. She may have even been sworn in either today or maybe tomorrow. But here's where the United States chooses money and somebody who does their donations over the education system of the United States. If you're going to pick somebody who is well suited for a job, like, oh my God, your credentials are incredible. This is the most important job in the world in this position, and I am going to want the best person in this job who's going to be able to perform. They need to have knowledge of this, that, this, everything that we can do, and even things we can't think of. And what do? They bring in Betsy DeVos, who doesn't know shit about the education system, except she donates to a lot of Republicans almost like $1 million between her family. So it's a favor. And we all know it. But Republicans still vote her in. Mm-hmm. All she knows is that she believes in God. I believe in God. And teach all this stuff.
And God's going to help the children.
God's going to do all this. And it's like, we don't need that. We don't need that. Like, we are putting all kinds of things on religion. And here's what's funny. You get mad at Muslims who follow their book and follow their religion. But, you crucify them and persecute them.
And Jews. And you have Jews that also follow the Torah very closely, too, and they get persecuted.
There are people who follow their books, but, you don't follow the Bible. If you were supposed to follow the Bible, trust me, you're supposed to kill a lot of people. There's probably supposed to be a whole bunch of dead gay people.
Not supposed to be eating shellfish.
Don't eat shellfish. There's a whole bunch of stuff and a bunch of rules. Men, don't cut your beards, otherwise you're going against the Bible. So if you really want to be that person, if you're going to vote for somebody because of their political beliefs is one thing. If you're going to do it because of their religious beliefs, because you say, well, that guy's a Christian, so I'm going to vote for him. Is he one? I can say I'm a Christian and I'm not. I can say I am. Mm-hmm. I can pretend I am, but I'm not. I guess I'm agnostic. I don't know.
But to get votes, you would say yes.
No, I'd be like, no, I can't be who I'm not. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I'm saying? But that's what people do.
No, I'm just saying, like in
generic terms,
right? Generic terms. How that's a lot of politicians won't even practice any kind of religion, but they'll say they're Christians.
I mean, show me where Jesus says, fuck these people. Mm-hmm. Tell me where in the Bible he says that. And if he's all inclusive and you're not being Jesus, then you are not a Christian. You are not. If you are telling people...
Don't say his name in vain, then.
I'm telling you, if you do not believe in that and you're telling them to do the thing, you might be... I mean, even Satanists probably have a code. It's like, you're just something else. You're not a Christian. If you... Same thing with, Islam. If you're doing all this crazy shit, yeah, you're following them. But you know what? Be a good person. If you really think that Allah is going to want that, you blowing up people, innocent... There's nothing in there that says blow up innocent people that I know of in the name of... Mm-hmm. All books say crazy shit, but to do it, it's like, come on.
Right. So we acknowledge there's extremists. There's always an extremist sect going on. And we're not all referencing them at all. It's the majority groups that blanket themselves underneath this Christianity, blanket. Especially now, like you said, Jesus was a refugee. He was from the Middle East. Would you embrace him now if he was here in the United States right now, say smack dab in the middle of Idaho?
No, they wouldn't. They would call him a terrorist. Mm-hmm. And they wouldn't even need to see him. They would just see him, be like, yo, he's a terrorist. He's not blonde hair, blue eyed. He doesn't look like a white guy from Germany. He was Middle Eastern. He looks like the guy that you would call, terrorist and call him a muzzy and all these, horrible names. You'd have Islamophobia towards him, and he'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's what he'd say. He'd be like, fuck you.
So stop using his name. He don't like that.
So stop using his name. Like, just stop it. And it doesn't have a place in American politics because none of them
no,
are in a belief system of where Jesus was.
If those politicians really wanted to pray on something and be sworn in, should have been a stack of money, because that's who they bow to. Good. Yeah. That's who they bow to. Stack of money. Then if you want to, make a swear to uphold something, it's going to be the values that you have when it comes to money.
And that's what it would be. It's like, that's a lot more honest. It's a lot more honest. And at least I would respect you for it. I'd be like, shit, at least, I know what your goals are. I'd still call you a fucking asshole.
But at least you know who they worship.
And you wouldn't be a hypocrite. All right. We're done with this one.
Yeah.
We got another one in the books. number 32 podcast, and we're going to keep going on strong. So make sure you check us out on our Twitter page. Remember, go to our Twitter page, Zod Andrea, Facebook, Zod Andrea, YouTube, Zod Andrea, Snapchat, Zod Andrea, Instagram, Zod Andrea. Like, we're everywhere.
Yeah, and look for a lot of pictures on Instagram that we'll be posting this week on various events. And let us know your feedback, especially about the one about relationships today we talked about. Tell us any stories that you have about jealousy.
Yeah, and make sure you look at our website because we're going to be posting up a lot more news events, things that we're at, and writing up some stories and things of that nature. Right now, you can check out Black History Month posts and, just keep it going.
Let us know your thoughts. If there's something else that you'd like to see on the show, tell us. Let us know what you're interested in.
Yeah, just let us know, and, hopefully you'll be one of the people that comes up on the show, and we get to do a video. Right?
Bye!
Talk to you later.